7C is the other skill we need to go over to review a little bit. This is a readiness skill. So whenever it says readiness skill, that means that there will be 2 or 3 problems on your EOC about it. Supporting, there could be 1, there could be 2, or there could be none. So the readiness, these are the ones that we really want to focus on and make sure you know how to do. So let's look over what this is about. So this is about quadratic functions. Quadratic functions are the parabola, the f of x equals x squared. That's your parent function. So get your calculator, clear out the memory so that it's fresh and doesn't have anything in it. You're going to have to go and grab a calculator today if you don't have one on your desk. At the end of class, I want y'all to put them back on the chargers too. So the parent function is y equals x squared. So let's look at that. This is what's called our quadratic parent function. So put in x squared. And let's graph it. If the graph doesn't look like it normally does, you can always go to zoom, and then number 6 is standard. That's the way that it's defaulted to look. So see how it's through the origin. It's a parabola. It's that U shape, and it's going upward. So let's look at, we're going to skip problem 1. And let's go to problem 2. So the graph of g of x equals x squared was transformed to create h of x equals 1/2 x squared minus 3. So we're going to compare this, so y equals x squared, to the 1/2 x squared minus 3. So go to y equals. In y2, put our new function in there. And it's asking what kind of transformation. Vertical shift, horizontal stretch, vertical shift, vertical stretch, horizontal shift, horizontal stretch, horizontal shift, vertical stretch. So we have to describe it. So what kind of shift? That means, was it moved left and right or up and down? So if you look at it, how was it moved? Up and down. So what kind of shift is that? Okay, so vertical shift is correct. So that means C and D are out. So now it's either a horizontal stretch or a vertical stretch. The way I think about it is if it's a vertical stretch, so think about I'm pulling something apart, that's a vertical stretch like that. Horizontal stretch would be pulling it apart like this. So was it pulled up to make it skinnier, or was it pulled across to make it fatter? Across. So if it's pulled across, that would be a horizontal stretch. So just think about you pulling something apart. I used to have like a what was it? What was called book covers that were elastic. I don't think I have anymore. Or a balloon. All of them. They have balloons all over here in this trash. Do you see a balloon in that trash? No.
There's like a balloon thing in the wall. Where it is.
Wait, let me see that one. That'll work. So if you were to stretch it vertically, so see how it gets skinnier like that? That makes more sense. Or horizontally, if you pull it apart, it gets fatter. So This is called a vertical stretch. This is called a horizontal stretch. Okay. Let's go to the next one. The graph of this function, f of x equals x squared, was transformed to create x minus 1.4 squared. Which of these describes the transformation? So go ahead and do that one. Look at your answer choices. So our original is the blue. So which way was it shifted? Right. So what kind of shift is that? Horizontal or vertical? Horizontal. So it was moved right. So that is a horizontal shift to the right. So that works. Right? Is that right? Yeah. Let's look at 4. Y'all read that one. So we're given the parent function for quadratics, x squared. What is the other function though? This says f of x minus 2, but what do we put into the calculator for y equals?
X squared.
Why do we put x squared in there?
That's what
Because X is X.
Yep, you're substituting that in. F of x is x squared. So instead of writing f of x minus 2, I'm going to put x squared minus 2. Go ahead and graph those and choose your answer. So what did you decide your answer was? J. Good. Okay, I want y'all to go ahead and work on these 4 problems with your group, and then we'll go over questions after you decide what your answers are. So let's see how you did. Hopefully you had enough time to look over these problems. So the first one, it has 2/3 x squared. So this one, let's compare it. X squared, I'm going to change this to 2/3 x squared. When you graph it, the blue one is the f of x function, and the red one is the g of x function. So the f of x function, so we're comparing the f function to the g function. So f is the blue one. So is that narrower or wider?
Narrow.
Yeah, f is narrower. It didn't move it up or down, so it's definitely not these. This one actually confused me and it got me. I got it wrong because I was like, well, the new one is wider. So it has to be B. But the thing is, it says the graph of F is. So it's saying I'm comparing F to G. F is narrower than G. So it got me there. All right, the next one. So it says the vertex of the graph is 5 units below the vertex of the other. So how did y'all do this one?
I put the graph.
Put it in the graph.
And Y1 and Y2.
Okay, y1 and y2. And then if it's moving it up and down, that means the y-intercept is changing. It's the plus or minus some number. It's not inside the parentheses. The number inside the parentheses moves it left and right. If it's outside the parentheses like this, it moves it up and down. So the one that actually works is C. Okay, good. Okay, the next one, this is talking about negative parentheses 5x close parentheses squared. So when you graph it, that negative, the number in front of the x squared, flips it over, flips it across the x-axis. So it's a reflection across the x-axis. So these two answers are the only possible answers because this says over the y. That means it would flip this way. But it's flipping this way over the x. And then was it a horizontal compression or a vertical compression?
Horizontal.
Horizontal, because that means you're pushing it down, right? No, pushing it sideways, sorry. You're compressing it sideways. You're making it skinnier. So what answer is that? H, good. Okay, and then the last one was tricky. It says the function is that in that form. This is called your standard form of a quadratic. The values of a and h are less than 1. Which graph could represent r? So we're going to go one thing at a time. We're going to look at when a is less than 1. So when a is less than 1, that means it has to be a negative. The negative flips it. It's a reflection. So look at our answer choices. If it's a reflection, it's going to be like this. So that means F is out when the A is negative. So then now we need to look at when H is less than 1. So I'm going to try a number. I'm just going to put y equals x minus, I'm going to put in a number for H. So let's say it's negative 2. Negative 2 squared. And I'm going to see what that does. How does it move it? So it'd be x minus a negative 2 squared. But the other thing was the negative out front, right? The a value. So I'm actually going to put a negative out there too. And let's see what happens to it. So that's my original. It flips it over and it moves it which direction?
To the left.
Left. So if H is negative, it's going to move it to the left. So look at our answer choices. This one moved it right. This one kept it still. G is the only one that moved it left. Okay, you need to make sure you finish your test correct.